Hello guys, this is Jay. Welcome to my journey. So in this vlog, I'm going to be talking about what helped me during my travels around the US and those tools that I used on my journey were very simple tools. Of course, one of them was a consumable, which is how I'll explain. The list will be breathwork, movement, meditation, and food, which is the consumable. And I'll explain in more detail why food is a tool. But first, let's talk about breath work. Breath work is what helped me out regulate my nervous system. If you can think about something, you can breathe. If you can go to work, you can breathe. If you don't breathe, you won't be alive. It's that simple, right? Life is breath, death is no breath. I notice when I practice certain breathing techniques, I notice that my nervous system calmed down. I remembered when my family blew up, my phone wondering where I was and was really concerned about me. At first I was furious, but when I started practicing my breath work, I started having more clear and concise answers to give them. So whenever you feel emotional and unstable, just know this: when in doubt, breathe. You can pretty much get stoned and drunk off your own breath. And it's a really simple practice to do, and it's for free. Again, like the breath helped me when I started feeling worried or doubt. Of course, I was going through a detox. I quit drinking and smoking for roughly over a month. Of course, people think that detox ends after a month, which is not true, especially if you're 35 years old. Or I was 34 at the time, but there's not really much a difference when you turn 35. It's like your body ages, I would say, a little quicker, and your body doesn't recover as fast. So your body's not going to recover as quickly when you're 20 years old versus when you're 30 plus. And I was drinking every single day and smoking every single day. I've been doing that since I was out of the military, so over a decade. So imagine doing things for over a decade and then just quit cold turkey. Your mind's going to be astray, it's going to be chaotic. And so the only thing I found to cope with that is breath work. Like I said, when in doubt, breathe it out. And then the next tool is movement. Movement helped me, what I learned about making the things I want to do in life happen is I'm obviously not standing in one spot. You always have these manifestation, practices, but some people may not ever be able to achieve the things they want to achieve in life, and they wonder why, and it's probably because you're sitting in one spot waiting someone to hand that to you. I didn't realize I wanted to make a lap around the US until I got to San Diego. Then I got to Vancouver. Then I want to explore Chicago and New York. Then I want to go to Disney World. And then I decided, hey, let's go back to LA. And of course, it requires movement for me to achieve that. That's just common sense. And I know during my journey, of course, it was more about what I felt than what I was actually thinking. And I remember my first destination was Austin. And of course, it didn't really make much sense to me at the time when I first left. I thought at first I was going to find me a job there and start working and possibly live in Austin. But as soon as I was trying to look for a place to park, a man flagged me down. And what if it wasn't for me to create that movement, me and this person would have never connected. And so during my journey, while I helped this person out create movements, he helped me out. And I was able to continue my journey through US. So, yeah, I mean, if there's things you want to do in life, you're going to have to and follow what feels right. Like, I listen to my body more, I listen to my brain. Always trust what your body has to say about something. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. If it feels right, even if it doesn't make sense, do it. Create that movement. Because you'll be surprised of who you will intercept in your little journey. Third tool is meditation. To me, meditation and breathwork is the bread and butter of this journey. Without meditation, again, I want to be able to rewire my brain. I notice in my past videos, I don't look the same person, but I also don't behave the same way. It seemed like in my past videos, I looked a little bit more chaotic, and I don't even look like the same person in my older videos. And that's all thanks to meditation. And meditation helps with me to rewire my brain to do the things I want to do. Like I really enjoy traveling. I enjoy content creating. And when I feel stuck about something, I sit down and meditate about it. And then an idea will naturally come, and then I at least try to put it into practice, or at least take action on it. Just see what the result is, regardless if it's a good one or a bad one. And it also too helped me calm my nervous system down. And I started off with my meditation with just doing it, mostly revolved around the Wim Hof breath and some other breath. Of course, I'll go into detail about that one day if you guys are interested in watching it. And associated with certain mudras. Like this is my favorite one here. It's called a Kubara mudra, which is supposed to be the wealth or receiving or manifest or abundance mudra. I notice when I have worries or stress about finances, when I do this, it just puts me in a calm state. But there's other mudras that I practice that help me on my journey, which is I'll do that in another video. Finally, the final tool is food. Yes, food is a tool. Not only just something to keep you alive and gives you fuel, but it's also like has knowledge within it stored. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of people unless you change your habits and then you go back to those old habits, and then you'll start realizing, oh wow, okay, I see what this guy is talking about. So, of course, I quit eating meats and eggs and mushrooms. Of course, well, I kind of accidentally had mushrooms with like certain non-alcoholic beers like yeast. Of course, it's not end of the world. But I started practicing a more sattvic diets. Of course, there were certain situations that really had no choice but to eat garlic and onion, and that's when I went to these guru dwaras, or these Sikh temples, where they fed you. They had a lot of spicy foods too, which my body didn't really agree with. So I decided to start going to food banks. And eventually I started door dashing and started focusing on my yogic diet again, which is, I'll explain that in another video one day. I try to eat a highly sattvic diet, of course, during the journey. I ate mostly peanuts and banana. That was a diet that one of my inspirational gurus, he wasn't necessarily my guru, but I consider him as one because he was a major influence on my life, and his name is Sadhguru. And that was the two things he ate during his spiritual journey, if he had one, or when he was living remotely. And to me, it was cheap and inexpensive. Of course, I had honey every now and then and some dairy products. Recommend staying away from non-organic milk. Oh, and that's another thing too. Stay away from, try to eat more organic or foods that are non-GMO and highly processed. Because when you eat like foods that are highly processed or eat fast foods, it does affect your mind. I noticed when I eat those things, I start feeling agitated, feeling my blood pressure raise. I started having like negative thoughts. I don't know why. I feel like I don't have control over myself. But when I start eating a more cleaner diet, it's like knowledge and wisdom comes to me, and I have the energy to do the things I want to do. So that's why food is a tool, or it can be a tool if you know how to use it properly. Instead of just treating it as, a pleasure or just only fuel. But I know it's easier said than done. I just highly recommend people to give it a shot one day. Try to eat a more, I would say, a yogic diet. It'll help create stillness in your mind. And that's it for the tools I use on my journey around the US, or the tools I used to help make things I want to happen in life happen now. I noticed too, when you practice these things, of course, probably take movement out of this one. Well, I actually know include movements. That your energy does play a part, and when you eat a certain way and you practice breath work and meditate, and then that'll give you the knowledge and wisdom to bring you into a direction or create movement in a direction, and you'll so happen to run into people that you really want to connect with. I know I have, and it was just crazy that it was a coincidence that I just so happened to run into people that are like minds like me. And then it's possible for you guys too. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below, tell me what you guys think about this video. Subscribe to my channel to watch more of my content. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye for now.